Ball first and 10 at the 12-yard line of the Seahawks. Sean goes right, has a cutback lane, and he does. He's across the 20, the 25, 30, 35, 40. Here he goes. Are they going to catch him? 40, 35, 30. Touchdown, Seahawks! 12, they're bringing the trophy home. Your Seahawks, Super Bowl 48 champions. Holy catfish! Baldwin's going to throw back to Russell. He's got it! Touchdown! Seahawks! Are you kidding me?
Let's Hawk It Out with your hosts Kevin Porter and Rich Harris.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Let's Hawk It Out. I'm Kevin Porter, along as always with Rich Harris. What's up, buddy?
Man, I'm telling you what, glad to get here with you today again to talk about the latest game against the 49ers. And I'd like to just say, it was a decent game, and I didn't really have a whole lot of high expectations other than the fact that we have a good record against the 49ers in the last recent history. But yeah, we can get into the details of the game. But man, I'm glad to be here with you, Kevin.
Sure,
how you
man.
doing tonight?
I know it's always a good time hanging out with you, Rich. So let's just go ahead and knock it off the top here, man. 27-7 loss here. San Francisco 49ers picking up their first win of the season. First win at home, obviously their first game at home, but the Seahawks do fall to a 1-1 record. I got the box score pulled up, dude. I don't know. It just seemed like there was a lot of expectation going into this game. Like, I know we talked about it last week, about how, like you just said just a few moments ago, like our record against the San Francisco 49ers has held up over the year, especially playing in Santa Clara. Just today was not our day, Rich. Today was not our day, apparently.
Nah, I think we shot ourselves in the foot a lot today. I think we had a lot of penalties again. I think that's a kind of a theme that we're facing. And we still have a lot of missed tackles. I see a lot of arm tackles. Even Quandre Diggs came in, man, huge at one point, and I don't know if he just miscalculated or what, but he just had nothing but arm. And I said, who is that? I usually go, who is that? I'll ask my wife, what number is that? And she usually looks at me like, I don't fucking know.
I don't
like know. She don't know the numbers as well as I do. I mean, I pay attention to that. And I was like, it's Quandre Diggs. I'm like, damn, Quandre, come on, dude. Doing, let's get it together. Yeah, I was singing a little Quandre song, like, come on, Quandre, or something. But yeah, she was just looking at me cross-eyed again. But come on, just the missed tackles, the penalties. Yeah, I mean, there's the time of possession is the biggest thing that stands out to me when they put that up on the screen.
It was really bad. It was really bad.
They had the ball a lot more than we did. Yeah, it's always going to be bad. And then, so our defense is tired because our defense is on the field a lot more than they need to be. And their offense is just clowning around. And then, of course, their quarterback goes down, their first stringer. And I always talked about, the 49ers suck because they have this quarterback controversy. Why did they keep fucking Jimmy Garoppolo there? And it's like, as a backup. And why did they legitimately, officially name their kind of rookie guy, the 2 or 3 year rookie guy, as the main guy, right? And then, boy, I bet their fans are in the stands today going, oh, I'm really glad we kept Jimmy.
I'm glad we didn't trade him to the Seahawks.
Oh, fuck, I was worried about Jimmy, but great, we got him. Go, Jimmy.
Go, Jimmy. Go, Jimmy. I know Trey Lance went down with a broken ankle today, dude. I guess I caught on the TV there. He's out for the season with that ankle injury, dude. I mean, unfortunate for him, but hey, Jimmy Garoppolo came and saved the day apparently. And
while I'm go ahead and pull up, if you haven't already, the record of Kyle Shanahan, their coach, and his quarterbacks. If you can Google that for me while I'm going to speak about, because I'm wondering tonight if we might have had a different game if the other guy was still in there, because Garoppolo is a proven person, and we always talk about somebody that can hold down the fort and be a game manager. Well, I remember a couple of weeks ago or early in the preseason, they showed Kyle Shanahan's record with all of his quarterbacks. Right. And Garoppolo had 31-6 or something. And the rest of them sucked. And Trey Lance was early on. We didn't give him a chance because he was a rookie. Only had a few starts. I think today was only his 4th official start or something, Trey Lance. But Garoppolo carried Shanahan's coaching tenure at San Francisco, from what I understand. So when Garoppolo came in the game, I'm like, well, is this good for us or not, really? And he just smiles a lot. He's like GQ, right? Just smiling. Just,
looking all cocky as shit, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got that smile you just want to like rub right off. Be like, get out of here.
Yeah. Yeah. He just smiles because he's having fun the whole time. It seems like he never really gets rattled, that guy. So he's still I consider him still a mediocre, but he gets it done, and he has proven. So if you can find that stat, he was like 31-6 or something for Kyle Shanahan as a coaching tenure. So really, Kyle Shanahan was probably like, oh, we're getting my good old boy back in there anyway, because they might have been facing politics anyway with bringing the rookie in. And the front office was like, nope, we're going with the rookie this year, or the third year rookie, even though everybody's wondering, why are you just benching somebody like Garoppolo that gets it done?
Yeah, they just came out of the NFC.
So I'm not a Niners fan, but I pay attention.
Game last year, dude. It's crazy. Like, why bench that guy? Like, he's obviously getting the job done to a point.
I know. Right. Well, and plus I think they just didn't. It's all a political thing that's on contracts. We can get together. I mean, we can talk about the Niners forever, but in a nutshell, they couldn't afford to keep him. So they were going to let him go. They didn't want to let him go too early because the Seahawks could have got him. So they ended up when it came to crunch time, they got him to agree to a much lesser contract to be a backup. And look where he's at now, leading the team again.
Jimmy Garoppolo, he's 31-14, like you said, as a starter with the 49ers in his career.
Yeah, so that's even up there. That's a lot. And the other guys were like all less than 50% or less than 500.
They're 8-27,
2-4, 1-6.
Dude, like they're just a completely really bad team without Garoppolo.
There's that guy in there beat. Yeah. Anyway, so we'll stop on the Niners. But tonight, it could have been a detriment to us to get Jimmy Garoppolo to come back in the game. Otherwise, I thought we had a lot of chances to move the ball, to convert on third downs, to stop third downs on defense. And, Gino overall just looked a little slow to think. He was indecisive as compared to last week. We are on the road. We do have a great track record of beating San Francisco in the last recent history at home, at their field.
Right.
And today just wasn't that day. We could have capitalized, Kevin, is what I'm saying. I'm not trying to say that it was our game. I felt that they did have the advantage. It was an equal game. They had the home field advantage. So I felt that they had the overweight advantage. But I felt that we could have took that game a few times, especially when we got that blocked field goal and they ran it back. That's a momentum changer. Do you remember that one?
So. Yeah, that was that was the only touchdown that we scored, right? Special teams.
That was a defensive touchdown. And then DJ Dallas, when they pitched him, that was a great play. But Dallas, I love DJ Dallas. That's my guy. But when they pitched him the ball and then he had DK Metcalf open in the end of the corner of the end zone, he just threw it real short. Just didn't think about it much. But he's not a quarterback. So they'll work on that one. It was a good play. And I seen him and DK talking on the sideline, but at the same time, I was just like, come on, DJ. I mean, it was perfect otherwise. It was executed. And if he would have just lofted it over the one guy in the one level, DK would have went up and got it. But he just threw a little beeline, like short, not even close to where DK was. So it wasn't either practiced well enough or I don't know. But we had that momentum and we were going to score an offensive touchdown at that point. We were right in the red zone. And we lost it right there because DJ Dallas threw an interception to DK Metcalf.
Right. It's unfortunate,
so just those moments where you're going, oh yeah, we got the momentum. Yeah, we got the momentum. We can get it back in this. Oh shit. We can't.
Well, it was like even going into the fourth quarter, I felt like we had a chance, like because it didn't end up like then 27-7 by the end. I mean, like when you look at the box score here, I mean, like. At the end of the first here, San Francisco was up 6, and then they scored 14, so they're up like what's that? 19. They're up at 19 or whatnot, and then they didn't score the third quarter, and then we scored in the third quarter, got that the touchdown and whatnot, and then they ended up getting another touchdown in the fourth quarter. San Francisco did, and it's just like going into the fourth quarter, I was just like, okay, like if we could pull our our heads out of our asses, man. I mean. I know we were talking about all the penalties and whatnot. I know last week when we were playing Denver, dude, it wasn't necessarily like it wasn't like it was on the other side. It was like Denver was off sync, dude. But yeah, today, man, I mean, like I saw Pete Carroll. I mean, you obviously, everybody saw Pete Carroll just losing his shit, when it came to one of those. I think it was like the Michael Jackson like corner defensive, pass interference or whatever it was. And it was just like, dude, like, yeah, it was out there.
Yeah, bro. It was. And I heard the announcer saying something about how you have to have a certain amount of time where the guy has even an opportunity to turn his back around. Because that's they called it as he didn't turn around and address the ball. If you're defending the ball, you shouldn't be just in the guy's face with your eyes to the guy still. You have to turn around and make an opportunity on the ball if you're going to be there, right? So I think that's what they called, but there's a certain yardage limit or something where they can't just throw it really quick and expect the defender to be able to turn around when he's in his initial defense mode. Right. I don't know the full, like I said, I always say I'm not an expert, but I'm a pretty solid and smart observant fan. I'll go with that. So I see why coach was mad, and I can see it. And there was some other guys in the commentaries that were saying something about that. So yeah, that might've been a bullshit call. Coach would know. He's been around the block.
He was pissed.
That one was bad. But there was so many other times where we shot ourselves in the foot. It wouldn't have been those little minute moments where, and I can see why coach was mad, because it wasn't going our way in a lot of ways. A lot of it was self-inflicted. Right. But those times where it's not self-inflicted and you can see it, coach is like, well, God damn it, that one is like ours. Come on. Don't add that to the list. Right. We're already dealing with some shit today.
Exactly.
So yeah. So I get it. So, and he's passionate. I love it. So what did he turn? 71?
71. Young 71. Yeah. Very young 71.
Yeah. And I always talked about, we go out to training camp, watch him throw the ball around, watch him hustle around, jogging around.
Yeah.
He doesn't sprint or nothing, but he hustles, and he just keeps that from the top down. Coach hustles. And I think the players, that's infectious with them. When he turns 71, can you imagine being in that building and that system and knowing the coach is out there hustling with you, and that guy's 71 years old,
It motivates you.
That's huge. That's huge. And not only that, he's not only a hustler, and setting the example in that respect, he's still setting the example that he still believes in his philosophy, like we've always talked about, and that his philosophy is still there. So with that said, Kevin, I think overall, I'm not trying to conclude this by all means, but overall, I think we are still hanging in there, because that was the crowd was against us today, because they were there. Like you said, we had the momentum last week. We were at home. They were at home. Their crowd played a role today. We were a little bit on the offense, like Denver was. We were like, oh shit, we're a little caught back. Denver was caught back last week. So we were jaded a little bit in that respect. And the rain, that shouldn't have nothing to do with us. So, because we're Seattle. It was just one of those times where when we had our chances. I wasn't worried about that part. When we had our chances, we didn't take advantage of them.
Yeah.
Even when we had those momentum changers, we didn't capitalize.
I'll definitely be interested to once, because obviously we're recording this pretty much immediately after the game, within an hour or so. And so neither one of us, I don't think, have had a chance to actually go listen to coach and any of the post-game press conferences or anything. So it's definitely going to be nice to hear, how they spin it. Obviously, we gotta, obviously next game's up, dude. I mean, next Sunday we're already looking towards the Atlanta Falcons, obviously. I gotta say though, I mean, just looking at the box score, I mean, like we said, Gino had a lot of missed opportunities, it feels like, but he went 24 for 30, again, 197 yards. He was averaging 6.6 yards, one interception, unfortunately, and he did have the 2 sacks for losing, 17 yards and whatnot. But I will say the one thing I'd like to see us get going, dude, is our running game, dude. That running game, it seems like we had a little bit of opportunity last week, but this week, man, again, you're just looking at your box scores, dude. We're only averaging between Rashad Penny and Kenneth Walker III, who had the 2 most carries on our team. They were only averaging 2.5 yards, dude. The longest they had an 8 and a 6 yard respectively. It's like, we need to get that going, dude. I don't know, man. I don't know what was up this week. Maybe it was just an anomaly, but hopefully we can get that going.
Yeah, and to address the interception, it wasn't fully it was mostly Gino's fault, because I don't know what the read was in his perspective. I'm not an expert, right. But he did throw it with a guy in the area, and he didn't put a lot of zip on it. It looked like he just decided to throw it and looped it a little bit, and the guy tipped it. He looped it to Lockett. Lockett was open at the moment. he looped it, and the other guy come in and tipped it. And then anytime you have a tip like that, then it's not necessarily fully their fault because they didn't just throw it straight to the guy. It was a read problem. It wasn't Lockett's fault either way. So yeah, that's Geno's fault on the interception. With the line and the running, I think it's mostly the line and the cohesion there still. You got the rookies. Abe Lucas had a couple of little faults, which is a growing pain thing. He's young. Right. And then Ken Walker was in today for the first time. So, and then Damian Lewis was back, our guard, and then he went down again. But so it changes when they start going through practice and stuff. Some of the chemistry changes. So with that said, it's just like it didn't seem like they were waiting for the line to develop, or the line wasn't making it develop. And then it seemed like the running backs were getting absorbed into the crowd, right? When the line just collapses and there's no defined holes or this and that. It just, I was bitching at the running game all day today. And I was trying to figure that out too. But Ken Walker, the one time he took the snap and I was going, go Geno, go. And I was like, Geno can move, man. And then my wife goes, but that was our new running back. I was like, man, you know his number at least. Oh, man. But he was remember that one? Did you see that one?
Off the top of my head, I can't necessarily remember that one.
Number 9, Ken Walker.
A little bit. Mm-hmm.
He took the snap, and I thought it was the quarterback. So that's something I want to talk about last week we didn't talk about, is these formations that we have now, right? We are definitely a different offense. You've got the quarterback, 2 running backs on each side, and a running back behind him. What's that called? Like the wings? It's look like an airplane.
Yeah, no, that is
quarterback in the middle.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. And then other times we got 3 tight ends on one side. Remember I always talked about the tight ends and then we'll definitely go heavy to that side because you got a whole line and then you got 3 tight ends or whatever, how many you can get away with.
Get it out there to them. They can't cover all 3 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Colby Parkinson looks like 2 himself because he's like 6'7", like we always talked about. So, but anyway, yeah. So the look of the offense as well looks a little different, and that was different when he took the snap. It was that same look, and I've seen Geno right in the middle of that, 2 running backs on each side, 1 guy behind him, and then I thought it was Geno, but it was Ken that took it like as the quarterback and then just took off. I was like, what the hell? So I was juked,
the game is so fast sometimes, dude. It's like you said, like catching, like whose number was that? Who was that? It's like you gotta sit there with your eyes glued to the TV without like being distracted whatsoever to make sure you're catching a lot of that stuff, dude. So it's
especially with Shane Waldron. He's finally showing us that he's got a different a lot of stuff that we haven't seen before.
Yeah, and that's good, dude. I mean, like I understand, it wasn't our best game. It wasn't our best effort today, but like at the same time, like I think you used the term growing pains, and we both said going into this, season, man, I mean, we're going to have some ups and we're going to definitely have some downs, dude. So we had a really high, beating Russell Wilson, last week. And then we come in here into San Francisco and just kind of get a little stomped out. But at the same time, you still saw a lot to where it's like, okay, there is improvement, that can be made, and we're not down and out. I mean, okay. You look at the records right now for the NFC West, dude. We're all tied 1-1-1. We're 3rd place, but hey man, it's still early in the season, dude.
Hey, bring on Atlanta next week at home. I think we can take them to town. I think we'll be hungry again, and then we go to the Lions. Hey. Yep. I'm happy right now. I'm content. I'm not going to say that our team is like, obviously, if you're going to be high on your team, usually because you're winning. I'm high on my team because I know what their future brings, and I know that we have the team that I thought we had.
I think so.
And I know we're going to have a win and a loss here. Now, that's the good with the bad. That's the yin yang. That's the equilibrium we talk about.
Yep.
So, bring it on. I didn't necessarily expect to win our home game against Denver, and I didn't know if I necessarily expected to win against San Francisco. So we got a balance. We won 1 and lost 1 on those 2 games.
Yep. I'm
content with that. That's called great balance, in my opinion.
I agree. Very much. Very well said, Rich Harris. Very well said. Before we kind of like wrap things up for this episode, I think we did fail to mention our last episode because we're just so caught up in the the highness of the Seahawks are back. But Jamal Adams Diva of the Seattle Seahawks is out for the season. Oh my gosh. Did you see this one coming, Rich?
What do I always call him? Our defensive diva. Yep. And I always said, just bring it, show and prove. I was raised on all these things. I was raised as a baseball player early on. So it was like, show it, bring it, actions speak louder than words. And that's what I was always saying, because Jamal Adams is a loudmouth interviewer, cocky, like I bring this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that. But he never can be consistent and show that he has a good, solid thing to bring to the Seahawks consistently. He's always getting hurt. I think the words I texted you because I was like, we didn't talk about this. You're right. And I wish we would have. It was kind of quick. It was Monday Night Football. We had to kind of just get the podcast out. But at the end of the day, he just seems reckless. He seems flamboyant, and he doesn't seem to harness and calculate the way he could use his skills and his attributes. Because it just seems like when he came in there and he hit Wilson, he did sack him, I think, but he was like he was flying, like he just came out of a rocket. And that's fine and dandy, but not all the time, because you're gonna pay for that, and he's been paying for it. His counterpart, Quandre Diggs, or his buddy that's in the safety room, or the team of the safeties, right? Quandre, if you watch him, he missed a few tackles. I looked in his eyes. He's just like, composed. Like in his mind, like you and I talk about sometimes, that self-awareness and going, you know what, I could do better. But he doesn't tell the world about it and doesn't like throw his arms in the air or doesn't fly around and act stupid. And I guess he got fined $10,000 after the game for something he said to the Denver sideline.
Oh, really? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I just read about that today. And nobody knows exactly what happened. It wasn't in a play. He never got flagged for it, but he got one of those little $10,000 fines where he said something that a ref witnessed or something derogatory to the teammate, to the other team, opposing team. Right. And that's not, we don't stand for that in Seattle either. Our home crowd and our home etiquette is the highest, in my opinion, in the league. Now, I'm a fan, but I know there's a lot of stadiums that treat the opposing fans and the opposing teams a lot differently. And we're not like that. So it's not acceptable. So right now I've wrote him off,
Well, look what happened.
And I ain't writing back.
Look what happened in New Orleans and Tampa Bay today, dude. I mean, that was a straight up brawl. I thought Tom Brady was going to jump in there and take a couple swings, dude. That was a melee.
Oh, that's a whole,
that's a whole different story.
This is usually what we do, right? Although this is usually what we do late in the podcast when we're about to sum it up, is around the link stuff.
For sure.
And good point. Good around the league. And now this one is Tom Brady's throwing the Surface tablet and shit again and yelling at the opposing teams. He's got that grit in his eye. Can you imagine if he's bitching at his family like that? Like I heard no wonder his wife doesn't want to be with him anymore.
Just Lane.
Right. Well, she's living in another one of their homes, I guess, for the last few months. Now, I'm not a gossiper. I don't read the Inquirer and all that.
Oh, I read all the tabloids, dude, Rich.
Well, then you must know, or you must have heard that Pete Davidson has already took her and the family to Chuck E. Cheese.
You guys quick, dude.
So it's like quick. The Kardashian thing. He's already in on there, so.
Can't leave Pete Davidson alone with your wife around, man. I swear to God.
Yeah, not when she's vulnerable and not happy with you.
Yeah,
I don't know. Right. Again, I don't know if this is around the league or if we're just a bunch of fucking clowns.
Yeah. It's Pete over here. Jeez. All right, Rich. Well, you got a.
But hey, dude, I don't know. I think we covered enough.
Yeah.
I really don't. I think we clowned around enough with our little final thoughts. Again, I think let's go back home, and let's take this out on the Falcons, because I think we should have every reason to do that. Now, the Falcons aren't nothing special to talk about. If we can't take this loss, a winnable game, if we can't take this out on the Falcons at home, back with the 12s again next week, then we might have something different to talk about. Otherwise, if we can beat them and stay in that contention for the NFC West, I think we'll keep talking about a surprising year that people might not have expected.
Man, dude.
And let's keep rooting against Denver so that they can get that. We can get that higher draft pick. I forgot all about that.
They won today, unfortunately.
I know, but it was close.
It was close.
It's nothing against Russell Wilson at this point. Once you reminded me about the draft pick, because it's our draft pick.
Very much so.
The next 2 years, first and second, on how they play. See, that's you're more of a logistics on that side, and I like that about you.
I want to see it, dude. I want to see him lose, dude. Give us that high draft pick, Denver. All right, Rich Harris. Well, as always, dude, I had a great time here, and man, we'll see everybody next week, right?
All right. That's right. All right.
There it is. It's key tagline. All right, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you guys later. Peace.
I gotta ask a question. Can you win a game in the first quarter? No! Can you